everyone. My name is Kristin, and we are continuing in our series on Ecclesiastes. And today we will be focusing on chapter 7, verses 13 to 19. Ecclesiastes is a really interesting book, and it's widely known for having a pessimistic outlook on life. But I think if we peel back the layers of the onion, we will find some real hope. Whenever I spend time reading through Ecclesiastes, I can't help but think of the character Puddleglum from the Silver Chair in the Chronicles of Narnia series. Puddleglum is described as a humbug who sounds as sad as a funeral and appears scared of everything. But in fact, he is perfectly happy and is as brave as a lion. When I think of that, I can't help but think the same is true for Ecclesiastes. So let's dive into the muck and see what kind of diamonds we can find. Verses 13 and 14 say this: "Consider the work of God. Who can make straight what he has made crooked? In the day of prosperity be joyful, and in the day of adversity consider. God has made the one as well as the other, so that man may not find out anything that will be after him." I want to stop and dwell here for a second, because I don't want to miss what it's saying. We've seen this idea before in Job 2:10, where Job says, Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? We often expect only good things, but the Bible tells us that we should also expect trials of various kinds. The truth is that God can be found in both circumstances. It goes on to say, "In my vain life I've seen everything. There is a righteous man who perishes in his righteousness, and there is a wicked man who prolongs his life in his evildoing. Be not overly righteous, and do not make yourself too wise. Why should you destroy yourself? Be not overly wicked, neither be a fool. Why should you die before your time? It is good that you should take hold of this, and from that withhold not your hand, for the one who fears God shall come out from both of them. Wisdom gives strength to the wise, man more than 10 rulers who are in a city." Okay, this section I had to read again and again before I even had a glimmer of understanding. Why would Scripture tell us to not be overly righteous? After all, much of Scripture encourages us to become more righteous, not less. Proverbs 16:8 even says that better is little with righteousness than great revenues with injustice. However, as I read and reread it, I began to see that our attempts to become righteous often lead us to only be righteous in our own eyes. Apart from Christ, righteousness is vanity, and there is no safety in legalism. We can see in the New Testament that Jesus reprimanded the Pharisees for this very thing. Likewise, it is foolish to allow our hearts to fall into wickedness. Both ways of living will ultimately lead to death. This passage is encouraging us to live a balanced life. It essentially says that we are to pursue wisdom and goodness, while holding our own righteousness with humility, and that fearing God should be our utmost concern. The wisdom is in direct contrast to the world around us. We are surrounded by deep division and extremes on every side, but this passage is offering us another option. We are to fear God, flee from evil, and pursue righteousness while recognizing that any righteousness we acquire is not by our own doing, but wholly by the grace of God. And whether we find ourselves in poverty or prosperity, we are to remember that God is not only in both, but worthy of our worship, regardless of our circumstances.